This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everyone. This is Sarah Johnson with Appulate. Thank you so much for joining me today for our Builders training powered by Appulate. We will be going over how to get set up in Appulate today, then what the workflow is going to look like, rounding it out with where to find any additional training, as well as any contacts you might reach out to if you need any assistance. So we're just going to go ahead and get started here. This is appulate.com/sign-in. Go ahead and enter your credentials for Appulate. If you have yet to reset your password, you're going to want to go ahead and do that. To do so, just enter your email address up here at the top, click Forgot Password, and follow the prompts. For now, we're just going to go ahead and click Sign In. This will take you to your Appulate dashboard. Now, the very first piece of setup that you're going to want to do is make sure that you have Uplink downloaded. And what Uplink is a simple print driver that's going to allow you to bridge over the information from your Accord forms to the Appulate system, which is essentially then going to upload it directly to the Builders UI. So to download Uplink, please locate Tools up at the top, then choose the third option down, that's Appulate Uplink. And it will take you to this screen here. You can see our system requirements if anyone has any questions in regards to system requirements for this print driver. What you're going to want to do is go ahead and click this big blue Download Uplink Driver button. It will give you a pop-up and allow you to download the Uplink driver. It will take about a minute to install, and once installed, Uplink will show up in your list of printer drivers when you go to print your Accord form. It will also be available as a shortcut. You'll see both live in action here in just a little bit when we go over that. Now, the next thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that Builders is reflected as your market in your selected market list. So locate markets up at the top, choose selected. This is alphabetical, so you can go ahead and look for Builders, make sure it is, of course, located in your selected market list. If it was not in your selected market list, you will need to add it. To add our market, you're going to go ahead and locate markets again at the top and then choose available this time. It is alphabetical, so just search Builders Insurance Group by name up here in the search bar. It will pull up the Builders market. And what you'll do on the far right-hand side of the screen, you can see I'll just use the example of this first market, this demo market here at the top. If you needed to add that market to your selected market list, so when adding Builders, just hover over that market's name and click the plus sign on the far right-hand side of the screen. It will then move that market over from the available market list to the selected market list. The next thing that you're going to want to do, just double check to make sure this is selected, is making sure that you're actually bypassing the Appulate UI and going directly to Builders. It's a very simple thing just to double check. You're going to locate Setup at the very top. You're then going to choose Settings. And then scroll down, sorry about that, scroll down to the section here that's an uplink settings, the uplink redirector. You're going to make sure that Carrier Direct is selected and not Appulate UI. So make sure that your little blue radio button reflects Carrier Direct. The last final piece of setup is, of course, just making sure your Builder's credential information is in Appulate so it can bridge over the information properly. To do so, go ahead and click on your name at the top right-hand side of the screen. You can see this right here, top right-hand side. This will take you to your individual user profile. You're then going to scroll to Builders, which will show up in your list of markets, and then add your Builder's credential information. This is very crucial so that the Appulate system can bridge all of that duplicate information from your Accord form over to Builders properly. So those are the few pieces of setup that do need to be done before you get started working in Appulate. So let's go ahead and take a look at what workflow looks like now. So here's our Accord form that I'm going to be using today. I'll go ahead and open it up. You can take a look at it, see that it's complete based off of the information that we have for this particular insured. Now, what we want to do is bridge this info over into the Builder system. So you're going to locate print wherever it's located, either in an agency management system or a native and Accord environment like I'm using now. And make sure that your printer here reflected selects Uplink. You can see if I click the download button, I'm going to have some options for some other printers. So if your system doesn't automatically change itself to Uplink, say it just stays with whatever your default printer is, just make sure you switch that over to Appulate Uplink. You would then click print, and you would receive a pop-up in the middle of your screen asking you to validate your Appulate credentials. That's one way to use Uplink. Now let me go ahead and show you the next way, which is my favorite way. It's just a neat little shortcut. Here's my Accord form. I'm going to right-click on that Accord form. You can see that Uplink shows up as a shortcut feature. So we'll just go ahead and click Uplink, and the exact same thing is going to happen. The system is asking us to validate our Appulate credentials. So from here, we're going to go ahead and hit send. It's opening up Appulate for us. We're going to confirm the line of business that we're working on and click continue. We're going to go ahead and deselect these markings. We're just going to select the builders option, and then go ahead and hit send. It's getting ready to bridge the information over from my Accord form to the builder site. So this is bypassing the internal Appulate user interface altogether, and it's going to go directly to builders. I'm going to select my insured. Go ahead and hit update. And now we are going to click through the screens. You're going to see as we click through the screens that it is going to have us just update a few key pieces of information. This is just because the Accord form that I used was a little bit past the date. So we're just going to go ahead and click next. It's going to have me push forward the date here. All right. And as we click through the screens, something that you'll notice is that it will automatically fill the information from our Accord form to the builder system. So we're not having to rekey any data. You can see the location information here. It automatically has loaded the class codes. So all of this information from our Accord form automatically bridges over. So we're just going to continue to move through the system, clicking next, verifying all of our information, but you can see how it can really turbocharge your submission process. You're not having to rekey any of the same data over again. We're just having the Appulate system bridge all of that duplicate data over. So you can see we got our policy period total. We'll go ahead and click next. You can see that we do have some information here that we have to build out. So I'm just adding a few things that we need to answer just based off of the Accord form. All right, so just a handful of questions. Just might not have been duplicate or answered on the Accord form. Answered a handful of questions, so you can see not having to go through each one. Clicking next. Now this particular section was not filled out, so we are going to go through and answer this info. Still clicking next, still moving through our submission. You can see all the info automatically attaches. Again, not having to rekey any of the duplicate data. Address is entered, no longer having to rekey any of that, and still clicking through the screens. I think you're probably getting where we're going with this. seeing how much easier it is that you can power through a submission really in just a matter of a couple of minutes in order to, get it over and having them be able to take a look at it. So you can go ahead and still process your payment plan. You can see the final step is going to be the summary itself. So you will get to the final screen. And this is probably exactly what you're used to seeing. Go ahead and verify all your information. And then, of course, you may now move forward and submit to underwriting. So with that said, that is the entire workflow within Appulate, or within a Builders rather, powered by Appulate. So Appulate auto-filled all of the information that was on your Accord form to the Builder system. So really powering the submission. You're not having to sit there and rekey all of that same data that you would have on your Accord form over again. You're still in your familiar environment of being in the Builders UI. And of course, you can see how quickly and easily it was to be able to go through the Appulate system, or the Builder system rather, and just have Appulate power it by bridging over that information from the Accord form over to the Builders form. Do we have any questions? I'll go ahead and give everybody a couple minutes to fill out any questions that they might have. I'll go ahead and do a last call for any questions. We have kind of a small group today, so there may not be any questions. All right, well, if there are no questions, I do want to thank everybody for their time today. I really appreciate it. If there's anything we can do, please, of course, reach out and let us know. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.